Hello YouTube world, Mac Daddy 1911A1 here with the Shade Tree Survivals. With the shutdown of Vidme, I decided to go ahead and just reshoot the Russian armored vehicle, the tank video. I missed some important information the other day, and I thought maybe you guys would like to see or need to know that also. So without further ado, let's get down to business. This is the brand new Russian T-14 main battle tank. Okay, it differs in that it has a longer hull than the traditional Russian tanks, which usually have 6 road wheels, and it has 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, that's one of the ways to differentiate it. The glacis plate here at the front, the main armor of the hull, is completely different. It is actually a capsule. This is how they're titling it. And all 3 of the crew members, the driver, the gunner, and the commander, are all in the front of the tank here, not in the turret. Okay, and you can see it's a completely redesigned turret from previous models. It is a welded construction versus being a cast dome type construction. Up here on the top you have a automated machine gun, and it has sensors and so forth. Let me zoom in on this thing. I'll show you guys some of the features. Okay, in this shot here you can see the driver's head poking out. It has LED road lights right here on the very front of the tank. Let me drag this bugger over here. Now the biggest things are right here. Okay, in the previous video I did not realize that I was doing some more research on it. This is radar. Okay, and it has it on both sides of the turret. I would imagine it has it at the rear also. These tubes under the edge of the turret here, and I'll get there's a better view here sometime where on one of the other photos, but these are active anti-missile defense rockets, I would imagine. These up here on the top that are hidden sort of in this photo are anti-personnel, and they are also active. Okay, it still has the standard 125mm main gun that the Russian tanks have been known for many years. It has a forward-looking infrared on the other side of the gun tube here. I'll get a better view of it shortly. The skirts on the side, I don't know if that's reactive armor or what the case is, but it's quite a bit thicker. It's not just a thin or a piece of metal hanging off. It is quite thick, and in other photos you can see that there's a massive shadow here and up to here. So it only goes from here to the very front, and then from the engine compartment to the rear you have this grate that is designed to defeat anti-tank rockets such as the Law and the Milan and so forth. But anywho, I'll go to another view. Okay, here's a shot from another angle. You can see the commander's hatch open here and him sticking out. You see the driver's head and the glacis plate. The LED lights are on in this one. You can see the side skirts, the 7 road wheels. That's what differentiates it from previous models. And the massive FLIR system. These here are cameras. They're on both sides of the turret for sure. You can see the sight system for the automated machine gun turret on top of the main turret. And again, the radar for, I guess, would be to guide these rockets or whatever they are, the missiles that are in these tubes under the edge of the turret. And you can see a really good profile of the 120mm main gun. It has a meteorological mast that gives all the weather and temperature and so forth, wind speeds and so forth, so that the gun can make a more accurate shot. It has a lot of computers in it. I wasn't able to find a really good picture of that, but they have computer monitors and so forth, displays, just like a really modern high-end Western tank. This is not your old T80, T72, T90, freaking any of the older models. I think it's a completely new chassis, but the profile from the side is very close to the old style, but it's not quite, and I'll get another view and show you guys what I'm talking about. Okay, and from this angle you can see it does not have the racks on most standard Russian tanks that would carry 55-gallon drums of fuel. Okay, you also can see it has a bustle that is attached to or part of the turret that sticks way out here, so it's absolutely totally different profile from any previous Russian tank. We have a red light here. This would be for the following tank so they don't run it over. We have an intake and an exhaust for the engine. Of course, you can see the grating, the anti-tank, anti-rocket grating to just, to try to set off the warhead of an anti-tank missile before it strikes the vehicle. You can see that the skirting, the heavy, thick skirting ends here, and then this is just plain steel. The drive sprocket is, as usual, at the rear of the tank. And the way it is shaped, it is sort of like a 45-degree angle from the tracks up. So it's got a very unique profile. Let me zoom in right here. I want to show you guys these rocket launchers. Okay, and you can see those tubes right there for the rocket launchers, or the missile launchers for the active defense. Another camera here, and radar that would be facing to the rear to help detect incoming, I guess would be try to defeat Hellfire, Maverick type missiles and so forth of the NATO allies and of course the United States. And but there you go, and again you can see the 7 road wheels, which is unusual on Russian tanks because 99% of them have 3 sets of 2, which would of course be 6. Okay, and this one here, I found this one after I already did the other video, but top left hand corner, it says sensors and cameras relay 360-degree view to screens in the crew compartment, which, as I've stated already, is in the front. The guy standing up on the left is the tank commander. The guy on the right with his head sticking out is the driver, and the gunner would be sitting in the center there. So all the crew are at the very front of the vehicle. That is very unusual for a tank. In the center above the commander's head it says 7.62 remote control machine gun fired from crew compartment. Second one on the left, front facing grenade launchers to defeat incoming threats. 5 smoke grenade launchers each side under the turret. I don't think that's what that is. I think that it's it seemed like I read somewhere else it was active defense, not smoke grenade launchers. I mean, why the hell would they put them under there? But anyway, at the rear, bank of vertical grenade launchers to defeat threats from above. It doesn't show that. To the right top corner, unmanned automated turret and loading system for 125mm smoothbore cannon capable of hitting targets at a range of 5 miles. Fires missiles as well as shells. That's nothing unusual. They've been doing that since the 60s. Angled armor to deflect incoming rounds. That's been done since World War II. Separate armored capsule takes 3 crew members comprising of commander, driver, and gunner. In the center bottom under the glacis plate, it says high ground clearance and extra under armor to protect against mines. And then, of course, whoever came up with this is smoking crack. But anywho, it says Armata T-14, weight 48 tons, cannon range 5 miles, speed 55 miles per hour, gun 125mm smoothbore, crew 3, how many? 2,300 by 2020 is how many they have ordered. And on the right, they're comparing it to the Challenger 2, which is 62.5 tons, cannon range 1 mile, which is a total load of horse shit. Speed 37 miles per hour. That may be true. I do not know. 120mm rifle main gun. Crew of 4. How many? 227. So whoever did that is definitely pro-Russian. It's propaganda. Anybody that believes that the British who invented the damn tank cannot build a superior tank or smoking some damn crack. That's all I got to say for you. All right, here's another view. This is one I had lost. I could not find this. And see on this one it says 5 active defense systems on each side of tank in the red box in the center of the screen. And that's what I was talking about. So you know, this is the thing. There's misinformation that is on purpose by military forces and so forth. I would have not imagined that they would be selling this tank on the international market until they have theirs built. And I guarantee you, like the M1 Abrams, which I don't know, it's a possibility that they're selling better tanks to foreign governments. Who the hell knows? But anywho, this is the one I'm showing. It says radar. And then we're showing exhaust here, protective grate over air intake and exhaust here. So I'm assuming this is your intake. This is your exhaust. And then it says 5 active defense systems on each side of the tank. And that would be, you know, visually guided and or radar guided munitions or something of that nature, I would imagine. And then, of course, you have your machine gun turret up here, and you can't see the barrel from this direction. And you can see the shape of that bustle rack, or the bustle at the rear. And so there you go. Okay, here's a front angle, if the damn camera will focus. And you can see the pretty good profile of it there. You know, every time I see this, and I saw this on the Leopard 2, the German Leopard 2, in its original configuration, it's got this massive shot trap. That's what I'm going to call it. So that an incoming round is not going to be deflected. It's going to hit that, and boom, your main thermal sight and so forth is out. That way you would destroy the turret right there off the damn bat. In this photo, you can see the machine gun barrel right there. So it's a 7.62 machine gun. You can see the thickness of the skirts on the side. They're a whole lot thicker than most normal skirts, so there's no telling if that's reactive armor or whatever. And like I said, in case you are new to this, reactive armor is if incoming round, a missile or whatever strikes the tank, it explodes outward. The armor does. Generally it's in small blocks, but who knows what this is. But it explodes outwards and defeats the incoming round. Okay? So who knows, but you can see the driver again and the commander, and you can also see these damn things are not, either they're doing this to show that they can make a smoke screen, or they're very dirty, very inefficient engines blowing that damn much blue smoke. That's just unburnt diesel. You know, it's low compression, if you ask me. I don't know. I'm not an expert on it, but as far as tanks are concerned, but when a truck's blowing blue smoke, it's usually burning oil, or it's not combusting the diesel worth a damn. If it's black smoke, it is burning it correctly, but that's a byproduct of the diesel engine. It's a very dirty system. And as in the previous video that I put up on Vidme, you can see, you know, you can see really well what it looks like from this model kit. But the thing I want you to notice is this baby right here. Okay, that's the profile from the side, and you can see the 45-degree angle. Let me turn the laptop a little bit and make it a little bit better for you guys. But you can see the 45-degree angle at the back, the massive overhang of the bustle at the rear of the turret, the big automated machine gun turret and sighting system on the very top of the tank. So it has a very distinctive profile, and at a distance, this is what you would see, okay? Even whether you could get details or not, like the antennas and so forth, it doesn't matter. The overall shape of the hull, and again, the 7 road wheels. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is a previous generation. This is the T90. It has welded on active armor. It has a turret extension bustle rack. It looks like it's been welded to it, but the turret itself, in the next few photos you will see it. It has the original dome turret. They just added a whole bunch of crap. Now, whether they were just testing the idea of the longer turret or whatever, who knows, but this one has reactive armor, and I'll show you guys some more pictures. But this one here, you can see the profile of the tank pretty damn good. And the biggest thing to identify them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 6 road wheels, rear sprocket, okay? This sort of looks like an Armata, but it's not. This is, like I said, the T90 MS model. And this is at a range. They were testing it out and so forth. So let's see what we have. Then let me go back one photo. Okay, this is a nice profile of it. Exact same tank. You can see that they were testing their automated machine gun turret and sight system on this vehicle. It has the blocks of reactive armor on the turret here. So when struck by anti-tank missiles or whatever, it would explode outward. You have a camera here, you have the sight here, the machine gun above that. This is a crewed turret. You have the commander's hatch and the loader's hatch or gunner's hatch over here. And in the center, you have the driver's hatch down here. And you have reactive armor blocks here and there. You can see the thick steel side skirts. The anti-tank mesh at the back to explode incoming anti-tank missiles and so forth around the engine compartment. You have your meteorological mast, and it looks like there's possibly cameras on it also, and your smoke projectors. Okay, these throw out smoke grenades so it can hide in the smoke screen. It had the old incandescent bulbs on the for the running lights, the headlights, and they were mounted to the glacis plate. Okay, so those are some things right there on this generation. Now, this is the piece of the bustle. And it looks to me like it's just welded to that, because that's the old style turret. The old style turret that they've been using since the freaking, well, I don't know if it was the 60s or the 50s. It seemed like the T-55 came out with this type of turret first. Let me see. I got to go back this way, because I got these damn things out of order. Here's another really good view of the tank. And I keep moving the damn camera, and I apologize about that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm trying to do this Saturday morning, and I'm trying to get this done before, or while another video is uploading. But you can see the big bustle rack here at the rear. And it looks to me like they were proving it, the system, okay? But here is another key to the old-style Russian tanks. You see these racks right here? Let me zoom in on that for you guys. That's where they would carry extra fuel and so forth. But you can see right there. And your 55-gallon drums or whatever, however many liters or whatever the case may be, would be attached right there. So they have extra fuel so they could continue if their supply trucks were not able to make it. From this angle, you can see the weird turret that they built. And of course, like I say, these are looking like cameras. I think this is like a proof of concept when they were starting to do the T-14 development, and they were testing it on a current tank, and you know, trying to improve the systems that they already had. But it's more like a proof of concept because it's just stuff slapped onto it, because that's not the original turret. So it's been added to the original turret. Beautiful tank though, beautiful tank nonetheless. All right, let me, okay, we got to go. Okay, and here's a head-on shot of it. You can see the shape of the glacis plate, which is this part here. This has got different headlights, okay? The other one had rectangular. This one has one white light and one red light for infrared night driving. You got a camera here and a camera here. You got the reactive armor all the way across the bottom, as well as on the top, and you've got a center line of reactive armor. I don't know, it looks like these could be reactive armor, but I'm not sure on that. The 125 millimeter main gun, the big sight where the cursor is up here, the remote machine gun turret, the meteorological mast, this is probably the main guns, FLIR sight and so forth. Smoke projectors over here. So yeah, they were really investing some money and doing a proof of concept kind of a deal, I'd imagine. Okay, here you go. You got the fuel drums are installed in the racks in this view. You have your 6 road wheels, okay? Rear sprocket. You can see the shape of the turret. They don't have all the extra crap on it. So these must be different vehicles, or before they added this, that, or the other to them or whatever. But you have the remote turret. You have the big sight here. You have the FLIR sight on the other side, the reactive armor on the front. And you can see it goes up and above the actual glacis, or the front arc of the old style turret. And what I'll do next is I'll hunt some pictures of the older, even older style tanks, so you guys can see what they look like. All right, ladies and gentlemen, in this shot you can see an older style. Now, when this thing was built, it was top of the line. This is the Black Eagle Russian T80 UM2, and yes, this is another model kit, but it's a great illustration without all the antennas and crap in the damn way, so you can actually see it. And you can see on this one you have your FLIR sight, or main sight or something right here on the left. You also have a FLIR sight, and this one here probably turns. They can probably look around and see a lot more of what's going on around them. Then you have all these blocks. See the individual little blocks here all the way around the turret, and here and down the center line of the turret, all over the glacis plate, and you know, possibly on the skirts because they're quite a bit wider. You know, another proof of concept. They were really working to improve their vehicles, because American tanks and British tanks, and I don't know about the German tanks, but the NATO tanks were just eating their older equipment alive in the war in Iraq and Afghanistan, just destroying it. And Iraq had some fairly modern Russian equipment, T70s, T72s, T64s, T72s, and earlier T80s and so forth. And the M1 Abrams, that 120mm German-made main gun, and the British tanks just eat them up. I mean, just tear their ass out of the damn frame. But y'all got to remember, a lot of that has to do with the tactics of the Army. You can't just say, okay, well, ours is so superior. Tactics has a lot to do with it. A lot. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is that same tank. This is the profile that they came out with to help identify it. You'll see this particular model, you can see the spacing in the road wheels, and that this particular model has 7 also, like the new T14. This thing reminds me of the German, not their tanks, but their tank destroyers from World War II. Very low profile, and it's just the way it looks overall. It looks like a German, World War II German anti-tank, or tank destroyer is what I'm trying to think of. Except those didn't have a turret. They had a, you know, an entire hull built above the chassis, and the main gun could only traverse left and right a few degrees and up and down quite a bit. But they were really good vehicles back in the day. But that's what this thing is reminiscent of it. And some Russian somewhere is cursing me for a sorry ass bastard. I'm sorry about that, guys, but that's what the profile does look like. It looks like the Jag Tiger or the Jag Panther, or Jag Panther, and you know, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. It's JADGPANZER or something of that nature. I don't remember how. And I know the German language, the J is, I think, like a Y. So I don't know how the hell you pronounce it. So I'm going to just say that and be done with it. But anyway, it looks like the old AFVs the German Army had during World War II. Okay, and back to the T14. I just found this picture in a different folder. I thought I had them all in the correct ones. But anywho, this is a aerial view of the vehicle. You can see the profile. You can see the commander's head sticking up out of there. I guess the gunner must not have a hatch or something, because I don't see another hatch between his hatch and the driver's hatch that you barely can see on the other side of the main gun. But you can see the anti-personnel grenade launcher doohickeroonies up here. I would imagine they can turn. I'm not sure. The radar here. There's radar on the back. There's cameras on all 3 of these sides. And likewise on the other side with the main guns, sight and FLIR and so forth. But you can see a good view of it right there. And what I really wanted to show you is the damn shadows created by those side skirts. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it took me a damn minute. This is not really that damn good a picture. But you can see a shadow right here. And you can see the shadow that runs down this side here, and you can see where the sun's coming out right here, and then the shadow of the intake and exhaust. Okay, So that damn skirt that's up here is quite a bit thicker. It's not just a piece of stinking steel. It's quite a bit thicker than the older type skirts and so forth. I thought I had a better picture, and if I find it, I'll put it in later, but I'm going to go ahead and show you guys some of the older style tanks and what they are capable of. Okay, if you didn't see the previous video, that, like I said, it was on Vidme, and now Vidme shut down, so you may not have seen this, but this is an older Russian T80, okay? This one here, if you see these big pipes, the green one and the brown one with the green extension, this thing is set up so it can go under a river, lake, or stream, even if it covers the entire top of the freaking tank. The engine can still breathe, and the exhaust plume can escape because it's been set up for it. Now this one here is before the T80M SU or whatever the hell that was, the Black Eagle. And this was the previous version where they had these blocks of reactive armor all over the glacis plate, front and sides of the turret, on top of the turret, and so forth. Okay, and like I said earlier, the reactive armor, if it's struck by an incoming anti-tank missile and or anti-tank solid shot, armor-piercing shot, it explodes outward and prevents it from penetrating. It explodes outward with massive amount of force. And by the way, the Israelis created that. All right, it was called Blazer armor back in the 80s, and it really helped to defeat the RPGs and so forth. Now there are tow missiles that are designed to explode that, and then the primary warhead will continue on and strike the tank and blow it up. So yeah, for every measure there is a countermeasure. Now this one here, this has a tube or something, I don't know what you call it, for the commander, and it's got a little viewport so he can see out if the tank is not, if it's not submerged beyond that. But yeah, this is an older style. You can see it has the sets of road wheels. There's 6 total, 2, 4, 6. Again, the main bright drive sprocket, and this here, that's just probably some type of fabric or something. It doesn't look like it's armored or anything of that nature, but that's the old style, and you can really see the shape and how short and very small the turret was for the older style tanks. Now, they still have thousands and thousands of these damn things, okay, and some been up armored with the Blazer type reactive armor. Okay, now this is a really good shot of one that looks like it has already came through the course, circled around, and it's going back through it again. You can see the water just steady pouring off of it. So, and you can see the shape of the hull, the dome turret with all the reactive armor on it and so forth. But that is definitely, now I don't know if that's actually a Russian tank, because they sell these damn things to anybody who's got a dollar bill. U-10-4, roger me. All the former Soviet satellite nations, the Warsaw Pact nations such as Ukraine, Georgia, Belarus, Czechoslovakia, Hungary, East Germany, and so forth, you would see a lot of these former Soviet satellite vehicles. They're all, Russian designed vehicles, but they kept them. Okay, it's like, hey, you screwed us out of our resources all those years and used it for the benefit of everything. Yeah, we're going to keep our crap. So that's one of the problems. If we're fighting in Europe, if it ever breaks out into a war, it will be very hard to identify by a visual sight alone friend from foe, because we could be fighting with one of the former Warsaw Pact members who steadily upgraded their vehicles and or bought their vehicles from Russia, and so they would have the same type of vehicles as the Russians. So you'd have to be very careful. Of course, they have IFF, identification friend or foe transponders on American and NATO vehicles, I would imagine, and you can interrogate a vehicle, and if it doesn't have the IFF signal, you can bust a cap in that ass. But there you go. Next, let me go to the next picture. Okay, and here's a T80. Yeah, it's got some reactive armor right there. and that's possibly some too. But this is one going into a either a lake or across the river, probably a lake or a big huge pond, and it's just entering the water. The top of the rear engine housing, deck, and all that is not wet. The turret, nor is the turret or the gun. So it's going into. It hasn't been in there previously. It's not shedding water left and right, but you can see a really good shot of it from this angle here. And let me see. All right, and here one is coming up out of a lake or across the river. And you can see the water is just absolutely pouring off of it. This one doesn't have the high-rise section for the Commander, so apparently there wasn't any need to put it on there. It was going to go so damn deep that the Commander couldn't see out of it any damn way. The searchlight is on the opposite side of the turret as from the previous tank we looked at. You have a sight here, and of course the reactive armor all over it. So it's either an up armor T72 or T80. And but there you go. I mean, yeah, you got to take these guys serious. They're not amateurs. They are very good at building their AFVs. And I mean, the T-34 in World War II was considered the best automotively and armored and gun tank as a total package. The Mark V German tanks had better guns and better armor, but they were prone to breaking down because they were so damn heavy. And the Tiger and the Royal Tiger, the last model of the Tiger tank, were very well armored and very well gunned, but they were so damn heavy, especially the Tiger II. It weighed as much as an M1 Abrams. It was 70 freaking tons, and it had a very short range and so forth. And basically they did to the Germans what we did to the Germans on the Western Front. We just overwhelmed them. 15 or 20 of our guys would attack them, and they were really, really tough. They could take it, but we had air superiority. That ended the fight because our AFVs just could not stand up to them. We didn't have the armored protection, though we later had a gun nearly as good as the 88, but not quite as good. And here's another photograph of that other really brightly colored tank that you can see. You can see a lot of the details really, really well. You can see the original cast iron or steel or whatever turret underneath the blocks of reactive armor, infrared searchlight, which is active, so that's going to give your position away so fast it's going to get your head blowed off unless the enemy you're fighting has zero technology and cannot see it. There's another searchlight here, the Commander's cupola. No machine gun. They probably take it down and stick it inside a compartment or something to keep it from being flooded. Then you've got the skirting, which is just some type of fabric. And of course your tubes for the intake and exhaust. But that's a good shot of one of their tanks. And that's one of them that went in and out of the river from a previous photograph. Alright folks, that is a Russian KV-1 that was eventually knocked out by a German Mark III Panther or Panzer. They had a small, I think it was a 37 millimeter gun. The road wheels have been shot up, the tracks a little bit, this side just a little bit, but you can see all the pock marks in the turret. Okay, that did not knock the tank out. It did not burn. What knocked it out was right there. This is not a really good picture for it, but the German commander of the Mark III Panther or Panzer shot the damn gun barrel. Okay, this is the prime example of what you can do if you use your damn brain and not just shoot at the damn armor plate. Okay, whether it be a tank or someone who has body armor, shoot the damn gun barrel. Here's a little bit better photograph, I think. But you can definitely see the damage to the gun barrel and how it's bent down slightly. That's what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Don't shoot the damn armor, because you can see the armor withstood it. They did not knock the damn tank out by hitting the armor. The only way they got it knocked out was by popping that damn gun barrel right here. Okay. KV-1, Russian KV-1 tank. And it was one tough hombre. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, for now, I'm going to end the Russian tank video. And with pretty much just their modern equipment. And what I'm showing you now is basically a teaser for the Chinese armor video. You can see that the standard chassis under the turret is of Russian design. You have your 6 road wheels, the basic overall layout of the way the chassis is shaped. The glacis plate, this one has reactive armor, it looks like, and then the restyled turret. Now, whether that is a add-on to the original turret, which that's exactly what it looks like to me, or it's a new turret, I can't tell you for sure one way or the other, but it just looks to me like they've added on to it. But we will discuss the Chinese vehicles in another video. This is MacDaddy 1911A1. Thank you very much for watching, and y'all stay tuned for more videos on not only armored vehicles, armored personnel carriers, but we also have videos on helicopters and their personal weapons, their assault rifles and so forth, and their uniforms and camouflage. So thank you very much for watching. Y'all stay tuned. We'll have more up soon.